Hello and welcome. Today I'll be showing you how I made these 3 Coraline accessories for your cosplay or Halloween costume. This includes the Dragonfly hair clip, the iconic button key, which you can see attached on a black string, and a solution to the button eyes without SFX makeup. So if that interests you, then keep on watching. First up is the Dragonfly hair clip. You can see here that I'm just drawing a very basic outline of a dragonfly just from an image that I found on Google, and it's just to give me a general idea of the shape that I want to achieve. Next, I'm taking a hair clip that I'd like to use. I had a couple of options here, but I felt that this one here was a better fit. So now I'm just drawing around that to get the shape of the hair clips that I know that the dragonfly design is going to cover the whole clip. And then I'm just altering the wings so that they're even and they sort of look a bit more proportional to the body that I've drawn there. I ended up cutting that one out, but the cardboard that I was using became a bit flimsy, so I decided to draw around it just to make it a little bit bigger and a little bit more sturdy and try to be a bit more careful this time. And I went ahead and cut that one out, and I was much happier with this one. Here you can see I've got some copper paint that I'm helpfully holding upside down and I'm just going to paint that on. You don't need to use a metallic paint. This is just the one that I had in my flat. My boyfriend is a keen crafter for his Dungeons and Dragons games, so he happened to have some metallic paint that he was fine with me using. Okay, and you're going to want to do a couple of layers of paint, whichever one you wanted to use. I mean, if you could find a metallic one, I would definitely recommend it, but if not, I'm sure that a brown or a beige or even, you know, a black or white would probably do fine for this. And I'm just going around the edges as well to make sure those are covered. This cardboard that I'm using is just some scrap that I found. I don't think you need to use particularly fancy materials to achieve a similar result. Come on, girl. Speed up a bit. No one's gonna notice these edges, love. Okay, and once that's dried, you're gonna go ahead and go on the other side, just because this hair clip can stand off the side of your head a little bit, so you want to make sure the underside is covered as well, just because it does look a little bit better when you're wearing it. So we're just gonna watch me paint this side as well. And once that's dry, you're going to probably go over it with another layer. I will say this paint that I'm using, I don't think it was particularly expensive, so I don't think it would be too difficult to find on Amazon or in a craft shop. Okay, so there it is. Look at me, I'm so proud of it, this metallic dragonfly shape. So next I went ahead and I glued the hair clip onto the back of the dragonfly, just using a hot glue gun. I think that super glue may also work for this. It's worth just experimenting. Probably you're going to need something a little stronger than Pritt Stick or craft glue. I think I failed this the first time and I ended up pulling it off and resticking it. Yep, here I go. So I'm pulling it off and I'm gonna re-stick it down. You'll see there that I took some of the paint off. I don't bother replacing that. I don't see the point in doing that. So I just decided to glue it straight down in the position that I want it to be in. And there we have it, all glued down to perfection. Alright, next up we have the most fun part, but also the most annoying part. Part of the reason it was annoying is because these gems that I had left over from another project were terrible. The glue on them was really, really bad, and occasionally I would get them dropping off. So if you were going to be pursuing this craft, I would suggest maybe trying out a set of gems that you know are good, are tried and trusted, or I would recommend looking into ones that don't already have glue on and applying the glue yourself. So here you can see that I'm just experimenting with the different sizes of gems. Color-wise, I was following a guide from a photo which I will insert for reference, but really you could customize it, you could have it however you wanted. I wanted the colors to be fairly true to the original Coraline hair clip from the film, so that was the guide that I was following. A little change of camera angle here just so that it's a little easier to see what I'm doing with the wings. You might be able to tell that the eyes of the dragonfly I chose to do red, and the wings I tried doing a combination of dark pink and light pink. This is because I was trying to follow the guides that I posted previously, but as I said, you could do it however you wanted. If you are unhappy with the combination of pink and red, as I'm sure some people are, there's no reason why you couldn't change that for a different color combination, or you could do all of them pink and all of them red. Now we're moving on to the key portion of this tutorial. You can see here that I have drawn a little sketch of a key to the size that I want it to be. And again, I will put my reference photos in. Finding reference photos for the key I found really difficult, but I was so happy with how this turned out. Once you have your stencil cut out, it's time to break out the Fimo modeling clay. This one I had is in black, which made it nice and easy because the key is black. So firstly, I rolled it out so it was not too deep, and then I placed my stencil in it and cut out the shape. Then I just went ahead and shaped it so the edges were a little tighter. And from here I really just kept on going in and moulding it into the shape that I wanted it to be according to my stencil. This strange little stick that I keep playing with, I believe it is a piece of a cartridge out of a old biro that ran out of ink, and I'm using it as a support, so I'm actually inserting it into the key parts of the key, and it's just to keep it sturdy. I knew that I was going to be baking this clay, which would make it firm, but I wanted to make sure it was as firm as possible because realistically I wanted this key to last a long time. I want to be able to use it again. Another thing that is of note here is you might notice I have a glob of petroleum jelly on the back of my left hand. This is a technique that my boyfriend taught me. He is very into modeling terrain and models for his Dungeons and Dragons games, and he uses this technique to sculpt things out of clay, and it essentially just helps your tools to glide over the clay a little better so it doesn't drag on the clay and misshape them. Just makes everything a little easier. This part here is when I started to shape out the rim of the button on the head of the key. Again, I'm using petroleum jelly or Vaseline to help the tool glide over the clay in order to flatten out the inside. The next step is to cut out the holes to make the button. This for me was the scariest part because if I were to screw up here, it was going to make a big mess. Once your key is in a shape that you are happy with, it's time to bake it according to the instructions on your modelling clay. And there it is, ready to be wrapped on a piece of string or thread or elastic and worn around your neck. The button eyes is something that I was really proud of. I decided to use a pair of sunglasses with round lenses, And then I used a metallic pen to draw on the dots and a bit of a rim, and it gives you an option to take this Coraline outfit outside without using SFX makeup, which I was just really proud of. For the outro of this video, please feel free to enjoy this cringy TikTok that I made on Halloween. Enjoy.
Don't be suspicious. 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 Don't be suspicious.